City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. I'm Keith Bilbrey, welcoming you to our weekly radio showcase for the finest roots in Americana music from and passing through Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to the Loveless Barn, music fans. And good evening to those watching over the web and listening on Nashville's hottest new radio station, Hippie Radio, 94.5 FM. We're proud to be on your live and local airwaves. Thanks also to the Loveless Cafe for the legendary biscuits and chicken, and the buffet for our musicians, supporters, and crew. Thanks to our sponsors, including Blackstone Beer, who brings you our lineup of artists each week. Let's hear it for them. So let's get this show on the road, folks. Let me introduce you to our musical host. You know him, you love him, Grammy Award-winning songwriter, recording artist, Jim Lauderdale.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. Well, Keith, it's been a busy week since we last saw each other here. And yesterday I wrote and recorded 3 songs, and so I want to do one of them for you right now.
I think one of the co-writers is right here in the audience tonight, isn't he?
Actually, the 3 from yesterday I wrote by myself.
Oh,
but there might have been who is out there? I might have recorded one the other day.
Well, I'm not going to say now. I mean, I've totally embarrassed myself.
If you would have told me earlier, I would. Keith. Anyway, here's this one. This one is called.
I wish you'd do Diesel, Diesel, Diesel. That's my favorite.
You know what? Next week.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I will.
Always next week.
Something new.
I want to hear something new.
That's right.
Something new you wrote by yourself. Could you do that?
All right. Here we go.
Okay, good.
I wish you wouldn't ramble. I wish you wouldn't stray from love that you can't handle, that has not gone away. Go chase the wild blue yonder and find what can be found. Then go through what you can squander. Then come on back and settle down. The wild blue yonder, far away. Wild blue yonder, I can't make you stay, so keep on looking until you're satisfied. I can never hold you, and Lord knows how I've tried. Wild blue yonder, far away. Wild blue yonder, I can't make you stay, so let the 4 winds blow you across the ocean blue. I can never make you finish for you're through. Wild blue yonder, far away. Wild blue yonder, I can't make you stay. Wild blue yonder, I can't make you stay. Well, thanks, everybody. Thank you, and welcome back to Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. Here we are again with a great night of music coming over the radio to you. And nobody, and I mean nobody, knows more about radio than our MC over there at the podium, Mr. Keith Bilbrey.
Thank you. You know, I like that song.
Thank you very much.
As they say back where I'm from, hit is good.
Well, thank you.
Hit is good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, she knows what I'm talking
and
about.
To tell you about our lineup tonight, not to mentioning interviewing the artists until they squirm uncomfortably and ask if they can be excused, Mr. Craig Havighurst.
Yeah! Hello. Talking about squirming.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, he's getting a taste of his own medicine.
There he is.
There, it's on. I didn't know how to switch. Well, I think, Jim, you're getting me confused with Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. It's not like that up here.
No.
Everyone who leaves this interview stage feels warm and connected and embiggened.
Yes.
Right? I hope.
That's right.
That's my goal.
Yes.
So we got some great folks to interview tonight, but better yet, we get to hear them sing. And I want to say thanks to the Southern for providing lunch for our crew, as they've been doing recently. Great restaurant downtown. We appreciate that. They're eating pretty good at lunchtime, aren't they? And thanks to, of course, to the Loveless for the chicken and biscuits for the crew, and to the Blackstone Company for our lineup every week. Y'all know that I may know that I'm a guitar freak and try to play, but we've got a duo tonight that is just absolutely state-of-the-art for guitar lovers. We're going to hear from Chris Eldridge and Julian Lage later tonight. Come on, give us a hand here for these people. They're standing right back there. They're listening. We're going to hear a fantastic duo from Nashville. They got a great story about how they met. They're veterans of the Music City scene. Smoking Flowers are here. And talk about a veteran of Nashville, man. One of these cats has been playing in town since the 60s. Nick Nixon and Andy T, the Andy T. Nixon Band. Some soul and some blues for us. And a big old band from East Nashville. We're going to see if they, again, how many people we can cram up on stage to hear from Magnolia Sons. Gonna be fun. And I think we got to get started, yeah.
Well, folks, the artist taking the stage released his first solo album in 1998. But by then, he'd already developed an insightful, affecting style, all his own. Since then, he's been one of the most consistently excellent songwriters in Americana music. And I know I've got that first album. And I've done many shows with him and seen him many times through the years. And he's always doing something that really, really gets me, that I really love, and it's so great to have him here tonight. He's newly moved to Nashville, and his superb album, Not Cool, was just released yesterday. It's exciting to have him here on such a big week. Please welcome Tim Easton.
Thank you, Jim. The other night, the house felt like somebody was fighting. One last question I ask you. Tell me why you do the things that you do, and don't lie. Don't lie to me. Don't lie. Don't lie to me. It's gonna come back on you. Stepped out just to fetch some news. You come home with a $2 bruise. Told me last week that you went and kicked it, but every day you're getting sicker and sicker. Don't lie. Don't lie to me. Don't lie. Don't lie to me. It's gonna come back on you. I made the mistake of making up words when there's something at stake. No good reason to ever do it. Holding up a wall when anyone can see through it. Everything you do, everything you say, every little stupid game you try to play, every waking hour and even in your dreams, you try to make things that they don't seem to be. Don't lie. Don't lie to me. Don't lie. Don't lie to me. Don't lie. Hey, don't lie to me. Don't lie. Baby, don't lie to me. It's gonna come back on. It's gonna come back on. It's gonna come back on. Just the night before when you were losing it, ain't nobody can deny you make a show. Well, everyone around us says they give a damn about you. We'll make sure your enemies all get to know about your troubled times. Don't worry, I love you even when you're down. Take your time, don't hurry, I will always be around. You rolled out of bed with a ton on your mind, no place for you to go unloaded. So instead you're gonna sweat out the time it takes for everyone to know about your troubled times. Don't worry, I love you even when you're down. Take your time, don't hurry, I will always be around. For someone who doesn't know a lot about maps, you sure know your way around this town. All that traveling and you barely learn to walk, now it's time to lay your weary blues down. Get down. Well, the sun was coming up and you still weren't down, just looking for another place to roll. There's people out there with some real problems. They'd be fortunate enough to get to know your troubled times. Don't worry, I love you even when you're down. Take your time, don't hurry, I will always be around. Troubled times, don't worry, I love you even when you're down. Take your time, don't hurry, I will always be around. I will always be around.
Thank you, Music City Roots. This is a song called Tired and Hungry.
Tired and hungry, baby, looking for a home. Tired and hungry, baby, looking for a home. If she can't get situated, she just have to build her own. I just put another state or two in between me and my sweet one's bed. I just put another state or three in between me and my sweet one's bed. I'm not in the mood for talking, my hands cannot be led. No, no.
J.D. Simo on the electric guitar over there. We're going to switch him over to the dobro. Welcome to town, Nashville, Mr. Eric Alvar on the upright bass. Just moved here last week. Megan Palmer on the fiddle here. And John Radford on the drums, all the way from Clarksville, Tennessee. This is a song I wrote out in the desert. It's called The Four Queens. Thank you so much. We're playing all these tunes off this new record that came out this week. It's called Not Cool. And I made it right here in Nashville, Tennessee with these good friends. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Beautiful night in town. This is a song called Little Doggy. Hey, little doggy, a long time no see. Maybe you got a tight leash, but you don't have to turn on me. Hey, little doggy, you feel alright. Let's find a couple of redheads and paint this town tonight. I know lonesome whistle tonight. They're gonna make every woman in the house get the lovesick blues. They're gonna make you feel like it's 1962. Hey, little doggy, you feel alright. That's when you stir your whiskey with the crust of an old corn cake. Hey, little brother, what's it gonna take you? I know the world's a mess, but we just can't let it break you. Starting to fade. Just because you're stuck in Kentucky, then that mean you'll never get away. Hey, little doggy, are you down? Well, let's kick off the chains and get high on the town. I know a jumping band is bound to sort your head out right. They're playing Elmore James and the lonesome whistle tonight. They're gonna make every woman in the house get the lovesick blues. They're gonna make you feel like it's 1962. They're gonna make every woman in the house get the lovesick blues. They're gonna make you feel like it's 1962. All right, we got one more tune for you. We'll see you around the neighborhood. Thanks, Music City Roots, for having us, and everyone here for taking care of us. Well, I'm a crazy mother from Shelby, Ohio. I just got in your town about an hour ago. And I can drive real fast cause my cousin's a cop here. Oh Lord, I see it in my dreams. I got a gun, gonna make it all clean. If I could just hate a little while more, I could level this town, I could blow off the roof. I don't believe in the great beyond. I'm just leaving my party hat on, taking you with me, taking you with me, taking you with me, I'm taking you. Oh Lord, see it in my dreams. Families are crying over what they've seen. When the newsman comes, tell him right this way, cause I'm telling the world what I gotta say. I don't believe in the great beyond. I'm just leaving my party hat on, taking you with me, taking you with me, taking you with me, I'm taking you. Shot through the heart and out to the lane. Shot through the heart, don't you forget my name. The tunnel I'm in on, come in, train. Thank you, Nashville.
Woo! Tim Easton. Tim Easton. That was awesome. It's great. I never know what his next album's going to be like, but I just know it's going to be great. Tim Easton, let's hear it for him again.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nashville, Tim. Yeah, y'all make him feel welcome here in Nashville, all right? He just moved here recently. You know, folks, I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is Music City Roots releases, the digital-only releases. And there's grassroots, soul roots, twang roots, and song roots. You know, we want you to join the Music City Roots Mafia. Would you do that? All you've got to do is enjoy the music. The reason why we call it the Music City Roots Mafia is because we're going to have more fun than the law should allow.
There you go.
Know, and,
I like that.
You know, support the Roots vision and the artists. And look for links to iTunes and Amazon at musiccityroots.com/recordings. And now, I'll tell you what, this man, talk about Slash. This man is the Slash of announcers right here.
There he goes with the biscuit.
I'm talking about...
Where's your biscuit bracelet? Did you forget it again?
You know what? I was in such a rush. I was running late.
Yeah.
From the studio. But anyway, without any further ado, here's Keith Bilbrey.
Okay, go eat your biscuit there. You know, folks, when people around the world think of Tennessee, first things that come to mind, probably great music, like you hear here at the Music City Roots stage in the Loveless Barn every week. Great food, no shortage of that around here. And of course, what else? Thank you, Myra. Moonshine, of course. And that's why we're so thankful for our friends and sponsors at Old Smoky Moonshine, Tennessee's first legal moonshine distilled in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, right there in the heart of the Smokies. Now, whether you're enjoying some of their classic White Lightning or tossing a couple of moonshine-soaked cherries into your Coke, they remind you to always shine responsibly. Old Smoky's now available nationwide through your local package store. Here in the barn, the Old Smoky Lightning Lemonade is a big hit on a summer night. And you can find out more at oldsmokymoonshine.com. Make sure to like Old Smoky Moonshine on Facebook. Visit them when you're in Gatlinburg. Check out all the good stuff they got for sale. Merchandise on their website. Now over to the Griffin Technology chat room. Griffin Technology is one of the world's foremost creators of accessories for home, mobile, and personal technology. They're all about communication, and so is our friend Craig Haverhurst over in the Griffin Technology chat room. How about it, Craig?
We're going to chat. Thank you, Keith. We appreciate it. Folks, say hey to the guys who are going to end our night, perhaps on a slightly less volume-based basis than we just heard, but still going to be great. This is Julian Lage. This is Chris Eldridge, but you can call him Critter. Please say hi to them. You all were being tremendous and fabulous guitar players in various contexts, very separate contexts, but then decided to come together to do this. You're a full-time member for years now with Punch Brothers, and Julian, you've got a career going as a solo jazz performer. But I got to ask, just to start, how this connection was first made.
Well, we both are guitar players, and you'll find that when guitar players get together, they're almost usually instant friends, unless they're like instant enemies. But I don't think that happens very often. So we kind of had this immediate bond, and we the first time we met, we played a tune together, and it had this really great simpatico thing about it, just a really complimentary and joyous conversation through our instruments.
Chris Thiele was on your first record, so you've known Chris a long time. Was that the first way that you met Critter?
That's how I met Critter. I was seeking out Thiele in Boston, where I was living at the time, going to school, and I met Chris. And it was just kind of love at first sight. As a musician, as a buddy, it was a very positive thing.
Talk about your back. So you grew up in the Bay Area, and
right.
People were noticing your talent when you were very young, and first I heard of you were playing on a Grisman track.
That's true.
On a sort of a special project.
Yeah.
When you were quite young, and so it was clear that you had a parallel thing with jazz and American roots music, broadly defined.
Oh yeah. So well, it's true. Grisman totally gave me my first break. I was 11 when I first recorded with him, and it's funny, my way into acoustic music was through vintage instruments, because that was David Grisman's kind of realm, is his realm. So he would send me home with old Martins, old Gibsons, and say, try this, and I just fell in love with each and every one of them. And through that, I got a little more into bluegrass and old time, and Eddie Lang and Django, and just kind of pre-bebop jazz guitar. And so it's always been kind of in my back pocket, this thing I've wanted to do, and now is the first chance I really get to explore that with Critter.
Have you found that, I mean, I've always watched closely at the place where the world of jazz and the world of acoustic music and bluegrass, call it what you will, overlap.
Sure.
It's been very rich terrain, but not a lot of artists working there.
Right.
But as you've carved yourself out as a jazz artist, being in the jazz magazines and being released through Jazz Label and so forth, does the jazz world understand that now? Is it a dialogue that's easy to have, or how can you reflect on that?
I think so. I mean, I think jazz, any conservationist attitude in jazz isn't staying strong. You know, the people want it to be like it was in the 40s. They're not really sticking around. The cool jazz people, everyone's kind of throwing up their arms at this point and said, if it's great music, go for that. And if that includes world influences, cool. If it's Americana influences, great. So it's a good era to be doing what we're doing, I think.
Critter, what kind of, this is the kind of thing that you would get up to on the side of the Punch Brothers world, but the Punch Brothers gives you a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things. I mean, in a space of a set, you're playing dozens of styles and approaches, but I mean, were you looking for a kind of a side thing, or do you kind of keep a flow of little creative things going that help, round out what you do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's really important. Punch Brothers is a really great and unique band in that we all love, across the band, across the 5 members, we all love lots of different kinds of musics. And I think we all kind of see them as being very related, because they all have harmony, melody, and rhythm. And those are the building blocks of music. So all music has that. But as far as doing something like this, I wind up playing a lot of rhythm guitar in Punch Brothers, which I love to do, but I also love improvising too. I mean, that's a real interest. That's where I kind of go to Julian's world. Most of the time in our duo, it seems like he's kind of coming to my world and playing the structure of like bluegrass or songs and things. See. But I love to improvise and stretch out, and having a duo like this really provides a lot of opportunity. And everybody else in the band has got other side projects going too. You take those, you have them, and you bring those experiences back to the band. And I think it just helps keep things healthy.
You put out an EP so far, so you've got a few compositions, but can you describe how you arrived at those compositions? What was the setting in which you were able to sort of write something?
Well, it was pretty collaborative. On the EP, there's a song that I wrote, there's a song that Julian wrote, there's a song that we wrote together, and there's an old flat picking standard. It's a fiddle tune, but flat picking standard called Cat on the Cane that we just kind of really improvised on a lot of the arrangement. And it was just a product of getting in a room and kind of saying, like, what cool textures can we come up with? Or here's this song, what do you think? Yeah, I like it. Or yeah, not so much. So what else you got? Yeah. And we just kind of tried to build up things, build up music that we'd love to listen to. I don't know. It's kind of
pretty spot on.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, hard to talk about that process. But it's just really, it's getting together and just kind of putting your heads together and trying to find stuff that we both love.
Julian, have you done many guitar duos in your time? Is it a format you're fond of?
It seems to be the way I end up with my favorite guitar players. I have a duo with Nels Klein, great guitarist from the band Wilco. God, yeah. That's more of a free kind of experimental band. And then I do a fair amount of gigs with Jim Hall, who's kind of my hero.
Jim Hall, how's he doing?
He's amazing.
One of the greatest of all time.
Father of modern jazz guitar. And then some stuff with Frank Vignola in the past, years ago with Abercrombie. I don't know, guitar, we find each other, but I've never experienced something like I'm experiencing with Critter, which is just I get to play the guitar I want, the music I want, at the volume I want, with the person I want. It's pretty ideal.
Nice. Another collaboration I wanted to ask you about, because it has an indirect Nashville connection, is Gary Burton, the Vibes player.
Absolutely.
Who I interviewed one time about his time coming to Nashville at the invitation of Hank Garland in about 1960-61 when he was 18 years old.
Exactly.
And recruited here to this scene and wound up playing on some country sessions, making some beautiful jazz, pure jazz records with Hank Garland, and then starting his own thing where he was doing country tunes on the Vibes.
It's true. I've been playing with Gary since I was about 12, so that's 13 some years I've been in that band. And he's always been a role model, that jazz, improvised music, acoustic music, the Nashville scene, it's just one big, good, positive thing. And so he's been very supportive, and that means a lot to me. But you're right, there's not many people in jazz you can say that about.
Yeah, hope Gary's listening somewhere.
Hopefully,
You're a hero of mine, too. This is exciting, can't wait to hear the music, and you guys have just booked a little show tomorrow night, stretch out a little longer at Bongo Java After Hours Theater.
That's right.
Tomorrow night, so without threatening anything at all, y'all have got to see that. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so
Julian
much.
Lage, Chris Eldridge,
Thanks.
back later in the show. Meanwhile, stage left, we're in Cowboy Hat tonight. Allie Sutton, good evening.
Good evening. There's two things that I really love, football and Vienna chili. And here's a word from our sponsor.
The game's not in the bag, but Vietti's got a plan. Pull the tab, feel the love, the winner's in the can. It's Vietti.
It's Vietti.
It's Vietti. It's Vietti.
It's Vietti.
It's Vietti. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you very much. Now I can't wait for you guys to hear this next band. So let's bring back out Mr. Jim Lauderdale.
Well, thank you, Miss Allie Sutton. Allie and Travis always do such a great job, I'll tell you. Well, folks, our next guests decided to go forward by going backward, embracing everything they love about the classic rock, soul, and rock and roll and R&B of the 60s, and they put their own spin on it. Robust and joyful, these guys will take you on a journey. And we're proud to bring you the timeless grooves and vocal explosion of Magnolia Sons.
Thank you guys for having us. You guys ready to have some fun? All right. This first song is called How Can I Get Over You? Still got
Nobody but you. Nobody but you. Nobody but you. Oh, baby. Nobody but you. Ooh. I will always be there. You may not believe it. I will always be there for you.
Thank you guys so much. We're gonna do a newer song for you. The song's called Peace Worth Picking Up. I want to thank Music City Roots for having us. We are Magnolia Sons. Thanks again.
Listen, baby, don't know how you got the notion, but baby, take it slow. Baby, take it slow. All commotion and emotional devotion, but baby, gotta know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The fire's hot, the flames are growing. Take it away, girls.
Oh, I know I should have stopped it all from burning up,
baby,
but I couldn't find a piece that was big enough. I know I should have stopped it all from burning up.
Oh, baby, got the notion. Oh, baby, it's time to go.
Stop.
Time to see the signs. There ain't no magic potion. There ain't nowhere to go. Ain't nowhere to go. Take your time, and if you wind up, tears are flowing. I won't let anybody know. Oh, oh, oh. We've got to keep on going.
Oh, I know I should have stopped it all from burning up,
baby,
but I couldn't find a piece that was big enough. I know I should have stopped it all from burning
Probably
up.
shouldn't stay, but they've been so lonesome. Love slipped away, now it's sinking in the ocean.
Oh, baby, got the notion. Oh, baby, got the notion. Oh, baby, time to
Oh, it's time to go, it's time to stop. Listen, baby, don't know how you got the notion, but baby, take it slow. Baby, take it slow. Take your time and don't let anybody know when. But baby, it's time to go. Oh, oh, oh. We've got a lot that gotta drop it, throw the pieces away. I couldn't find the piece that was worth thinking of. I couldn't find the piece that was worth thinking of. I couldn't find the piece that was worth thinking of. I couldn't find the piece worth.
Thank you very much. We've got one more song for you. It's called Baby That's You. Check it out on YouTube.
If you wanna go, then baby, that's you. But if you're gonna stay,
guys so much. Magnolia Sons. Appreciate you listening tonight. Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
All right. Magnolia Sons. Oh, man. Woo. That was fantastic, y'all. Thank you so much. Magnolia Sons. Yeah. Well, Keith, I think this is a good time as ever for me to ad-lib about joining our community again, the Music City Roots Mafia, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Where the only trouble you'll get into is with yourself for not listening to enough great music. Keith, you know, because we want everybody to join us on Facebook, Twitter, and you can subscribe to our Music City Roots YouTube channel. And we'll notify you whenever new videos are released. And Keith, guess what?
Yes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Keith Bilbrey.
Keith Bilbrey who?
You know, Keith, I'd love to hear you say a new joke. Do you have a good new one?
I've got one I just heard this week. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Okay.
Did you hear the one about the tiger that went into the bar?
No, I've never heard that.
This tiger just walks in a bar, and he walks up to the bar, and the bartender looks at him and says, can I help you? He said, yeah, I'd like a drink. Well, what kind of drink would you like, Mr. Tiger? He said, fix me one of those Old Smoky moonshines.
Oh.
And the bartender said, why the big pause?
Oh, gosh. That was a good one. You got me on that one.
That's so bad it's funny, isn't it? Kenny Malone. Thank you, Kenny. Hey, Jim, speaking of social media, the social media light he is, we're proud to announce that the Music City Roots YouTube channel now has well over 5 million views. People will be tuning in just to hear that joke again. So what the heck was he talking about? Every week we post a video of a song from each artist that appears here on MCR, and you get to vote on your favorite Star 129 Gem of the Week. Sponsored by Star 129 Diamond. So let your voice be heard. See the amazing Star 129 Diamond for yourself at select fine jewelers all over the country, and here locally in Nashville at Forster's Diamond Outlet at their beautiful showroom on Hickory Hollow Parkway, or just take a look at star129.com. You'll be amazed at the patented technology they've used to create a diamond guaranteed to come with the industry's highest rating for sparkle. Would also like to thank our friends at the Nashville Scene. If you want to know what's happening in and around Music City, you just look for a fresh copy at local newsstands. That's what we do every Thursday. Or you can visit NashvilleScene.com. Griffin Technologies, proud to be a part of Music City Roots and privileged to make the gear you need to power, play, protect, create, and connect to the music that means the most to you. That's why their slogan is Connect to Play. Now, over to the Griffin Technology chat room, and there is Craig Haverhurst.
I appreciate it. My microphone works, too. Folks, he started the show with some rock and roll. Tim Easton, say hey.
Thanks, folks.
Glad to have you, man. I'm a Nashvilleian now. We'll talk about that in a second, but we've got to start with the record, Not Cool. It is, but here it is, a one-day-old. It came out yesterday. Talk about this week and what you have planned, or what's it feel like to kind of come up to a big release week?
It's somewhat nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I made the record in January of this year, over 5 days, with a lot of the guys that were on stage here, and Megan was on it too. And basically, I live here now with my wife and daughter, so I have a 3-year-old daughter, so that's what I've been doing all week.
Plans for the coming, late summer and fall here to go places?
Of course, yeah. There's going to be some traveling. I'm going to go through the Midwest and on the East Coast. I'm going to go over to Europe for a little bit in November.
Great.
And then back home. I'll be playing in Nashville at least once a month for the rest of the year.
Okay. Well, talk about what led up to this record. When I popped it on, it's surprising. This is not a texture we've heard. There's some Chuck Berry guitars and some, vintage rock and roll. And you said in one interview that you let your roots show here more than maybe in the past. But
yeah, I was at the AMA Awards last year, and then I walked from the Ryman across the alley right into Roberts. And I went in there, and J.D. Simo, who was playing guitar today, he was on guitar that day with a guy named Joe Fick on upright bass. And I basically saw those guys, and I decided what kind of record I wanted to make that night. And I'd made a few records in Nashville before. This is actually the 5th one I've made here, but this is the first one I've made since moving here.
Right. Yeah, J.D., who is playing guitar tonight, has played on Broadway. He's played with Don Kelly Band, and is just a stylist. I mean, he really takes charge. And were the songs written at that point and looking for a style, or did you then write to that feel?
I did. I wrote the first song that night that I saw them play. I went out in the parking lot and I wrote a song called Little Doggies. And then I just basically started to cater songs to that style, which is a style, a vintage style, basically. So some songs that I might have had that were a little more on the pop side or something, or folk side, I just decided to rockabilly them up a little bit more. And when you play with guys like that and people like that, it's just really easy to... Those guys do that kind of stuff every day, they just wake up and do that. So it was a really easy and fun record to make.
Now, I understand that the photo on the front is actually you, and it looks like a prom photo.
Yep, that was Homecoming.
Homecoming, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have a black eye.
You seem to be sporting a black eye, a shiner in this picture.
Yeah,
where did that come from?
I was a bully. A couple nights before the dance.
All right.
Took one for the team.
Yeah. So therapeutically, all these years later, you can say to those guys, wherever they are.
Yeah, I wanted to put out a record that basically had a cover and a title that made you hold the record and wonder what was going on.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't tell too much about the story. That is me in high school, and then the songs. Basically the way you used to hold a record and look at it and think about the title and the cover and all the songs and how they all fit together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I was going for, and that's what I accomplished on this one.
And that high school would have been in Ohio, right?
Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. What do you think growing up in the Midwest did for you musically? Where do you think that hit?
My mom worked for the library, so she brought loads of old records home. That's where I first, heard about Doc Watson and Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, and Elmore James and stuff like that. And I had older brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest of 7, and my brothers played guitar and stuff like that. So they taught me a lot. And then I started writing poetry. Okay. I had a good teacher, influential teacher, and it was my brother that told me somewhere like the 6th or 7th grade. He said, "Well, if you play guitar and you write poetry, you can write songs." And I started writing them that day.
The records you put out through a great career, we don't mean to imply that they all sound the same, because they don't. They each have really had their own personality, and in a couple of cases, no trouble at all with layering some drum loops or some textures over there that weren't entirely, roots country or alt country per se.
Yeah,
how have you approached recording? You've had a nice sort of relationship with it.
I think that it's important to try to do something new when you're bringing, something that you love and respect, and try to do something new with it. And I feel like I did that on this record as well. It might have come from a vintage place, of a rootsier place. But I feel like I did a little something new with some of the arrangements and some of the lyrics and some of the stories, and they're not autobiographical so much as they are story songs about other folks.
Cool. Another thing that is important to your story is you did a lot of traveling. You went overseas, you bussed in other cities, and really let that soak in. And how did that affect, whether it was the actual physical act of playing on a street where you have to get attention, or just culturally soaking things in?
Well, when I was growing up in Ohio, I was listening to great records and guys like Hank Williams and stuff like that, but I didn't have my own stories to tell. I was just a teenager, so I didn't have any history, any stories to do. So I decided to go overseas and follow that kind of Woody Guthrie trail, except instead of the United States, I went and hitchhiked all around Europe, where it was a little more acceptable there. And I went all around Europe and I was a street musician, and that's where I learned to write songs. I'd be playing other people's songs, and I started to learn to write songs. And of course, I gathered the stories which I still mine today for songs.
Yeah. How long a period of your life was that?
7 years.
Are you serious? I thought you were going to say like 18 months.
No,
wow,
no.
that was commitment.
Yeah, I was on and off for about 7 years. I would come home every now and then, or else drive my mom and dad crazy. So I came home. I would come back every now and then. But I spent, I got a few jobs when I was over there.
Yeah.
I was a night watchman. I was a bartender. And when you're a bartender, you're going to learn to write songs.
You're going to learn stories and songs. Yeah. Great. Well, I'm glad to have you in Nashville. Been here a little over a year, and it's just awesome to have you as part of the community.
Thank you, Craig. Thanks, Music City Roots.
Tim Easton, everybody. Thrilled to have you make your debut tonight. What's next, guys?
Well, I'm going to remind everybody you're listening to Music City Roots on Nashville's Hippie Radio. WHPY Bellevue, Nashville 94.5 on your FM dial. And, of course, we're broadcasting live from the big old barn out behind the world-famous Loveless Cafe at the intersection of Highway 100 and the historic Natchez Trace Parkway. For more than 30 years, the Loveless Cafe has been shipping out those delicious preserves and country smoked meats you always hear us talk about. This year, think about giving someone something downright tasty with a gift from the Loveless Cafe. You can go online and view their new catalog of gift baskets at catalog.lovelesscafe.com, or just stop by in person and check it out. Once again, the man with the biggest paws in show business. There's Jim Lauderdale. Yeah.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Well, if our last band, Magnolia Sons, are drawing on inspiration from the soul and blues of the 60s and 70s, our next guest was one of the artists who made that inspiration possible. The singer taking the stage helped put Nashville on the national map as a hub of soul and blues, and in recent years, he's been an ambassador of Nashville's musical depth and diversity. Please welcome the Andy T. Nixon Band.
Good evening, everybody. Start things off with a little song that I wrote for our last CD. Goes something like this. Hey, baby, you look so good to me. Hey, baby, you look so good. Shake that thing. Tell me, pretty baby, what might be your name? Hey, you look so good to me. Whoa, you the prettiest thing that I ever did see. Mr. Andy T. shake it to the right, shake it all night long, just to make everything all right. You look so good to me. Whoa, hey, you're the pretty little thing I ever did see. Look at now, tell me, pretty baby, what might be your name? If I don't find out, it's gonna be a doggone shame. Hey, baby, you look so good to me. Oh, hey, you're the pretty little thing. You look so good to me. Oh, yeah. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it down a little bit, y'all. Yeah, Lord have mercy. That's Andy T on guitar, playing all that blues. We're in Dallas, Texas, cutting our new CD, which is entitled Drink, Drink, Drunk. But we needed one more song to complete the CD. So that night when we got ready to go to bed, I heard old Andy T in the shower holler out real loud, "Have you seen my monkey?" But we're gonna do that later on for you too. But this one here we're gonna do to get in good with some of the fellas down in Texas. We don't want to feel alone. Little thing called On My Way to Texas. On my way to Texas, that's the place for me. On my way to Texas, that's where I wanna be. Where there's wide open space and people really dig the blues. Give me some T-Bone and Lightning, Frankie Lee too, Game Mouth and Freddie. The album's also cool. I'm on my way to Texas, that's where I wanna be. Where there's wide open spaces and people really dig the blues. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy T. I've been to LA, Chicago, Memphis too, all around the world, but only Texas will do. On my way to Texas, that's where I wanna be. Where there's wide open spaces and people really dig the blues. On my way to Texas, 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 where there's wide open spaces and people really dig the blues. All right, yeah, all right. Thank you very much. I'd like to keep things going here. Do a little tune that I wrote about 26 years ago. and wrote it about myself. I can't write it anymore. Mr. Billy Cox with the band, the Gypsies, used to call me that all the time, call me Snake in the Grass. So this song is called Snake in the Grass. Better hide your money, heart won't last long. Come one of these days, it'll all be gone. Better look behind you and under your feet. Ain't no telling who you're gonna be. Well, leaves on the sleeve, right in there. Just a snake in the grass. I wanna tell you a little something. Better watch your woman, keep her close to you. You don't know what a snake might do. He might charm her if he gets a chance. He might squeeze her right out of her pants. Well, he's all slick, that mighty bad. There's a snake in the grass. Mr. Andy T. Thank you very much. I want to tell you a little something about this song we're going to do for you. I told you a little bit about it just a few minutes ago. It's so long that I have to break it up into sections. Yeah, yeah. Everybody feel pretty good out there tonight. We like one song having enough to finish the album out, Drink, Drink, Drunk. We're not gonna do Drink, Drink, Drunk tonight. You'll have to buy that And if you don't buy it, you're gonna miss something. But when we got to the motel room that night, Andy decided he'd take his shower, and I heard him holler out real loud, "Have you seen my monkey?" So that's where it comes. Have you seen my monkey hanging around this town? Whoa, have you seen my monkey? Has she been fooling around? She got the cutest little tail. My monkey's not for sale. Have you seen my monkey? She don't belong to you. Whoa, have you seen my monkey? I got her down at the zoo. She got the cutest little tail. My monkey's not for sale. Look, came the spider, sit down beside her, scared my little monkey away. She was flying in the trees, swimming in the breeze. I wonder if she's gonna stay. Have you seen my monkey? Come on down there. Give it up, I hand it to y'all. Written by Andy T. The Monkey Song. Ladies and gentlemen, with Aretha Franklin, Dana, and Deborah McClain. Come on, Dana. Give her a big hand, y'all. Have you seen my monkey? 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 Bring it down a little bit, y'all. I gotta talk to her. Boy, I miss my monkey so bad. I don't know what I'd do without her. She got the cutest little tail. Testify. My monkey's not for sale. Yeah, I believe I found her. All right. Want everybody to clap your hands like you do in church. Come on. If you don't go to church, clap your hands anyhow. It's all right. Hey. Oh, hey, my monkey. I don't know what to do. Have you seen my monkey? I know she's buried somewhere down up under this ground. She always getting in these holes and stuff, you know. But one thing she likes, she loves to hear her mama and all of them sing harmony together. She loved that. And she's educated. She got to the 3rd grade. So we're going to hum, see if we can get her to come up out of the hole. I see her sticking her head up out that hole over there. But I want her to come on out of there and show me that pretty little tail. Yeah. Oh, you eat my monkey. Have you seen my monkey? Ow. Hey, hey. One thing she liked in school, she got to the 3rd grade, and she loved mathematics, y'all. She liked to add, subtract, and multiply and all that stuff. But she'd always do it backwards. So we're gonna do that and see if she come on out of that ground. How about it? 5 Thank you very much.
The Nick Nixon Band. The Andy T. and Nick Nixon Band. Guys, that was smoking. And ladies, y'all, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Woo. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what, Keith, they were putting the scald on it tonight.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, hey, I see you've got one of my favorite people over there.
Colonel Littleton. Yes, sir.
So anyway, without any further ado,
you know where he's going? I don't know where he's going. I don't know where he's going.
I know where he's been.
I think he's done. Yeah. Okay, Colonel Littleton is here. And Colonel Littleton, what are you? I heard the governor was down at your place this week.
He was.
He was?
He was.
Governor Bill Haslam.
Bill himself and his wife,
yeah,
the First Lady, came down to see us last week. Came down and check us out. Anyway, what I want you to know is that the bag the governor bought, well, we really gave it to him, was just like this one we're giving away tonight. It's a $900 briefcase.
Wow.
Pretty good deal, huh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to buy some roads down for Linville, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, if you haven't filled out your form for the drawing tonight, if you don't have one, go over to our booth, get one, fill it out. We'll draw for this bag before the last song. So if your name's not in the pot, you can't win.
And the governor got one just like that.
Just like that.
Wow. So if it has BH on it, it's the reject, okay?
That is the reject. And I understand you were in the same fraternity with the governor.
That's right. We're Sigma Chi's and proud
of it. All right. Good deal. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Littleton. Be sure and go over there and register now, because you can't win if you don't register. You know, you have options about where you choose to conduct your financial business. As a not-for-profit financial cooperative, Ascend Federal Credit Union recognizes the importance of member loyalty. That's why they're pleased to once again reward members who bring the majority of their business to the credit union by returning $8 million in bonus dividends and loan interest funds. Over the past 7 years, Ascend has returned more than $39 million to its members. Now, to learn more about Ascend, visit them at ascendfcu.org. Federally insured by the NCUA, and membership is limited. Now, if you don't have credit union membership available at your work, you can join by joining the Nature Conservancy. Ask for details at your local Ascend office. The Nature Conservancy protects nature not only for its own sake, but also because nature sustains our health and our way of life. The trees that clean our air, the rivers that supply our drinking water, and so much more. Visit nature.org/Tennessee to learn more about what the Nature Conservancy is doing for you and for nature, here and around the world. Now it's time to go back to our little world, the chat room. Craig is over there, the Griffin Technology chat room. Connect to play. What's going on, Craig?
Folks, one more time, say a big thank you and howdy to Nick Nixon and Andy T. right here. Putting it together.
Hello.
Thanks, gentlemen. It was great. That was just awesome. We got a sound that you could have heard from, decade after decade. It's timeless, absolutely timeless. Nick, talk about the Jefferson Street and the world that you were, experiencing when you were young. It's something that I've read about in some books here and there. And they had a nice Night Train to Nashville exhibit at the Hall of Fame a few years ago. What was your experience with it? How would you sum it up?
Well, I was basically a streetwalker in Jefferson Street, just visiting all of the clubs that I could, and I was really going to see how many dates I could get.
Fair enough.
And hanging out and hearing some good music too. People like Jimi Hendrix, Billy Cox, and a lot of folks like that, and Johnny Jones, just having a good time. Little Richard.
Right.
A lot of the artists.
Some of these guys are people who live in town. Some of them are making the Chitlin circuit and coming through on a regular basis. Is that a way to think about it?
Yes. I met Billy Cox and Jimi Hendrix when they were still in service.
Right.
And I was going down at Fort Campbell doing shows along with Rufus Thomas and a few people. And that's how I met them. And when they got out of the Army, of course, they moved to Jefferson Street.
Yeah.
In a little place called the House of Glamour upstairs over a beauty parlor.
Huh.
They got them a couple of rooms up there, and that's how they made their way to Nashville.
Can you set the scene a little bit? What did people wear? What was the vibe of these clubs? Were they sort of like proper nightclubs, or were they down, dirty, sort of? What was the feel?
there was some sharp dresses, some real sharp dresses and everything back then, you know. That's the only thing they had to do is just try to suits and ties and try to look good, you know. And then you had people, a lot of songwriters around the area and that lived around Nashville, like Matt Gaden, who's in the house tonight.
Right.
And
hey, Matt. All right.
Everlasting Love and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those songs, big songs on Jefferson Street, that's for sure. All over the world, really.
For sure.
Yeah.
Andy, how did you get to know Mr. Nixon, and what was your interest in delving into this slice of history and time?
Well, okay. I got to know Nick. I moved here about 6 years ago, and we kind of found that the Blues Society, the local Blues Society, was not really happening, and we started our new Blues Society, and we had a jam night on Sunday nights at a place called Jefferson's in over on Jefferson Street. Yeah. Oddly enough. And Nick came walking in one night with his guitar and sat down, and I put him up with some people, and he sang, and I thought, wow, this guy's not only good, he's one of the best guys I've ever heard. And that's how Nick and I hooked up, actually. He was coming out to the jams, we started playing a little bit together, and decided to do an album.
Where did you move into town from?
I came from Los Angeles, California. Born and raised out there. And
yeah. And did you know about Nashville's blues past, or was that a surprise to you?
Absolutely not. I thought I was going to have to go out and buy a 10-gallon hat and some cowboy boots and play country. Okay. I really seriously had no idea that there were people like Nick here, and I really didn't know. I hadn't really heard. So.
Nick, had you been playing consistently and performing through these years, or were there times when you went and did another line of work, or how would you catch up with you that way?
Yes, I'd been playing with different groups. I had a group called King James and the Scepters, and which is one of the grandsons is in here tonight too, of one of the members of the band. And I had with Past, Present, Future. I was with a bunch of groups, and Billy Cox and I had a group called NTS Limited. That stood for Nashville Transit Service.
Oh my God!
We used to do a lot of gigs.
Where else did you work?
Huh?
Where else did you work?
He's asking
did I work?
Where else did you work?
Did I play?
No, did you work?
Oh, I had a job.
You had a job?
I taught music for 35 years with Metro Parks. Until I got too old.
Oh, that's superb.
And Mimi Simmons talked me into retiring. Who's also in the house.
To kids, what age are we talking about? How did that go?
Man, I've taught so many kids. I've seen kids play at our jam and stuff that were my students. I just couldn't believe it. But
what kind of ages? Like 10 to 16?
Yes.
All ages.
I took somebody to the hospital one night, I don't know, in the emergency, and this guy kept looking at me, and he came and talked to me. He said, "You are the guy that caused me to like music, period."
How about that?
Not only the blues. And he said he was from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he was now 27 years old, and he was a nurse at the hospital and been in town for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And this kind of stuff just makes you feel good, and he said that I came to his school when he was 9 years old.
For sure.
Blues in the schools.
Blues in the schools, yeah.
How do both of you all feel about awareness of the blues and its ability to continue to tell its story, continue to, evolve and be a relevant, forward-looking, moving thing as much as it is something from the past?
And that went over to me, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I think the blues comes from raw emotion, and I think everybody can relate to it if they really think about it. People try to say that the blues is sad, but yeah, there's sad songs in the blues and country and popular music, and there's some songs that are just happy songs too. But I think that the blues can stay relative. We're trying to do it. We're trying to update things a little bit, put a few twists here and there. I know there are a lot of younger people kind of mixing blues with rock, and if that helps keep the genre alive, that's what we have to do. So.
And did you all really make an album called Drink, Drank, Drunk?
Sure we did.
All right.
Drink, Drank, Drunk.
What's
It's
the
on
theme of that record?
The theme of the record? It's just a really nice, really solid blues CD. Got some blues. It's got a little bit of Cajun flavor on it. It has Have You Seen My Monkey on there? So it's a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
And we just tried to make the best CD that we could.
Were we seeing some of the guys that helped you make that on stage tonight? Talk about the musicians that you're pulling into your world to realize what you want to do.
Well, that CD was actually, we recorded it in Dallas, Texas. And a good friend of mine, Anson Funderburg, who's a very big, very big fish.
Oh, Anson Funderburg is an extraordinary musician, big figure.
In the blues world, he's wonderful. Anson produced the CD for me. And we actually started it before I found Nick. So we have a mix of musicians, some Texas musicians. Just about everybody who was on stage tonight is also on the CD, on a few of the songs.
All right.
So we split it up.
And any plans here for this fall? Where would we see you guys during the course of the year? That do you do the Printers Alley scene, things like that? Where would we find you guys?
Well, every Monday that we're in town, we host a blues jam at Bourbon Street in Printers Alley.
Well, right.
And we've been doing that for about 2 years now. And when we're not there, we have a good friend of ours, C.J. Vaughn, covering for us. And it's a great jam. Everybody gets to play. And our goal is to have everyone leave happy.
Yeah.
And we get some great musicians out there.
And how much has Bourbon Street delivered to this town over the years? That's an amazing place, and it's hidden away, and people sometimes can live here for years and not know about it. It's amazing.
It really is. I mean, it's not visible just driving by. I didn't know about it for a long time when I lived here. But that club really has some history. Just about everybody who's anybody in the blues has played there.
It's true. It won a big award a few years ago as one of the best venues in the country, too.
Absolutely.
So it has been heralded. Well, this is great. Thanks for bringing this flavor to the stage. We don't have it enough, and we'll keep watching what you guys are doing for the blues. We just appreciate it.
Thank you. You all are doing a wonderful job.
Thanks a lot. Andy T. and Nick Nixon, everybody.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. They met in 1998, and since then, their life together has been rich in love and in music. As a duo, they've made 2 albums, including this week's brand new Two Guns. They've played live dates with artists as diverse as Ben Folds and the Black Crowes. Please welcome Kim and Scott Collins, the Smoking Flowers.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much, Jim. Give my lovely bass player some power and we'll get going. This is our CD release tonight. We're so excited. It just was, thank you. It's 2 years coming. We've shelved this for 2 years and it's finally coming out. So it means a lot to us tonight. See a full house, happy faces. Thanks for coming.
Wanted you to make me laugh, but you only
you were dreaming of. I'm not your daddy. Just put those dreams to rest.
Thank you. You guys look marvelous.
The township line, the streets compelled. The priest rang the town bell, draped in red, the Queen of Spain left to lead the parade. The dancers stepped to a secret time. The beast stepped to it too. We'll dance the dance of the young. I know what I must do. The ring was filled Your eyes, they lifted too. We'll dance the dance of the young. One of us will not make it through. Come and sway with me, sway with me. Come and sway with me, sway with me. Come and sway with me. Come and sway with me. Come and sway with me. The piano was struck by a demon chord, and I was struck by a bull. I was struck by a bull. I was struck by a bull.
Thank you guys. So nice to be here. Here's a brand new song, literally. It's called Young and Brave.
Do you even know what you are running from? There's a woman in her eyes. There's a man out on his wire. I'm thinking back to the time we had. We were young and brave. I could still hear you say, I'm coming straight for your heart. I'm coming straight for your heart. Are you ocean blue? Are you new wave new? With a knife I can find, with machines I cannot. We'll pay the rent and make the neighbors split. We're still young and brave. I can still hear you say, I'm coming straight for your heart. I'm coming straight for your heart. You're just running in the dark from a hunter on the mark. I'm coming straight for your heart. I'm coming straight for your heart. You're just running in the dark, running in the dark. heart. Coming straight for your heart. You're just running in the dark. Running in the straight for your heart. I'm coming straight for your heart. I'm coming straight for your heart. I'm coming straight for your heart.
Thank you. So tonight is obviously special for Scott and I. But it's also special for two special people out there, my mom and dad. They are celebrating their 47th anniversary tonight. Huge inspiration for us. I got your locket, Mom. 47-year-old picture. Anyway, this is for them. It's called One Friend.
Bottle turned down, a face for a frown. I'm too far from home. I'm too far from home. A black foreign eye, a death before a lie, out on the front line, turn towards the light. If these were the last words in my mouth and the last verse I sing out, if you've got one friend, it's worth breathing. If you've got one friend, you've got it all. With a bottom inside, no further than a pine. A fighter's alive. A diamond will rise from the cold in my eyes. Sight set on the prize. Cold, cold, come alive. If these were the last words in my mouth and the last verse I sing out, if you've got one friend, it's worth breathing. If you've got one friend, These were the last words in my mouth, and the last verse I sing out. If you've got one friend, it's worth breathing. If you got one friend. You've got it all.
Thank you.
That's it? The Smoking Flowers. And congratulations on the new record. The Smoking Flowers.
Just feels good to say, doesn't it?
It does.
Smoking
It just
Flowers.
rolls off of your tongue. You know, and especially since I'm wearing my shroom shirt. That
That's
has
right.
The small... But anyway,
That's
hey,
what that is?
I digress, Keith.
I thought it was autumn leaves. No, it is mushrooms. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, anyway,
how-
speaking of the shroomiest guy I know.
Shroomy or roomy?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a long paw.
Yes.
Keith.
Yeah,
But,
big paw.
Yeah.
Big paw.
Anyway, here's Keith Bilbrey.
Well, thank you. We always ask that you support our sponsors because they support us. They allow us to do our thing and bring you music in fresh and innovative ways, which is why we're so proud to have Nissan as one of our sponsors. Innovation, what's Nissan all about? Not only does Nissan support Music City Roots, they also support a variety of other artistic endeavors throughout our community. As Music City Roots continues to shake things up in the world of music, Nissan's doing the very same thing in the automotive world. Just recently, Nissan unveiled the all-new Altima, Pathfinder, and Sentra, and out this spring, the all-new Versa Note. Have you seen any of those around town? I sure have. They're good-looking cars. Nissan's new hatchback. Nissan's local motto of Nashville Proud has never been more timely and appropriate. Not only are their vehicles innovative, their relationship with this great city grows deeper each and every day. We hope you'll check out Nissan on Facebook and become friends with them. Just search Nissan to join the community and find out more about their upcoming models and boundary-pushing innovations. Thank you from us, and thank you from Nissan. Hey, guys and gals, we want to remind you that French's Boots is your headquarters this summer for the best deals on Justin boots and more. French's can outfit you from your head to the heel of your classic Justin boots, or Justin Gypsies for the ladies, at the best prices anywhere. So step out in style with our great selection of jeans, shirts, and hats, and let them custom fit you with that pair of Justin Western or Justin Gypsy boots you've always wanted. Downtown on 2nd Avenue and all across the great state of Tennessee, it just makes good sense to shop at French's. Check out MusicCityBoots.com and click on Justin Brand Boots. And we'd like to give a shout out to our friends at Digitech, the official office equipment provider here at Music City Roots. Just take a look at those beautiful programs for a sample of their quality. You can find them at digitechllc.com. And now over to Craig and the Griffin Technology chat room.
All right, folks, let's say one more time thanks to the Smoking Flowers, Kim and Scott Collins, right here. So I don't believe this duo has been all you guys each have done musically over these years. How does this relate to your other, your lives in music, or am I wrong? Has this been the main event?
No, you're absolutely correct. Kim had a band a lot of people may know about called Kim's Fable when I met her that was really successful in the scene. Late 90s, early 2000s. I played in a band called Pale Blue Dot for a few years, too, and with Kim and my brother. But this has been something that, as of about 4 or 5 years ago, we pretty much thrown ourselves into. We'd sit around the house playing songs like this, and everybody would say, why aren't you doing that? So kind of, it was nurtured for a long time.
Kim, how did a musical relationship shake out of, being married and being a couple and those times when it's informal, and then realizing how do you formalize that?
It was It was literally like he said, we would be playing around, jamming with our friends, and they would say, why aren't you doing that? And we looked at each other and we're like, why aren't we? I think we were used to doing the rock and roll thing individually and having our, I had my solo career and he had his thing with his brother. So when we realized after so long of being married that we had something magical and special going on, and it happened effortlessly, that's when we made the switch.
Had you all been writing in any way together at this?
Not much, no.
No,
Mm-mm.
okay. The Two Guns record, brand new. Congratulations! It's great to have that out. He's wearing his Two Guns tie. The story of the title is interesting. Why don't you share that with us?
Well, we love to travel and do spontaneous trips. And we took one out to Route 66 in Arizona and stopped in on this ghost town. And I'm an amateur photographer, and I'm like, I have to take pictures of this ghost town. And it was called Two Guns. And where you would think no one was living there, there were some squatters on the land. And we had a very Quentin Tarantino moment with them for the afternoon. So it kind of became a...
Was a record in the works at that time? Were you looking for a name?
Was.
Were you looking for a vibe?
I wouldn't say we were looking for a name. It just kind of happened. But the record cover was actually the real Route 66 dirt road.
Okay.
When we came upon it, I stopped, put my camera on the hood of our convertible, and we just snapped that shot. So,
right on.
So it all just was, yeah.
Yeah, I was a ghost photographer.
Well, what about getting the record itself together? You said it was made a little while ago, so what's the story there?
Yeah, it was an album recorded probably in about a 4 or 5 day span. And took about almost 2 years to actually make it out. Kim and I had an interesting year last year. Kim was diagnosed with breast cancer and is in remission now. And
just went down, I see. I thought that was a little further in the past.
Yeah, it was ready to rock and hit the streets about a year ago, but we pretty much everything completely put on hold for a good year plus. And but as Kim has said, it's actually been a blessing in disguise. Like now we actually have a team behind the album, and we're more. Everything's a lot clearer to us now.
Okay.
So that was part of the story why it took so long. But the album was a snapshot. What is ironic about it?
Still feeling like those songs feel relevant. They feel like what you want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was funny after taking many months off from listening to the album, and we listened to it. It almost sounded like we were listening to another band. The songs had whole new meanings to us.
Oh, how about that? That can happen, can't it? Yeah. Any immediate plans you want to share with folks? Any shows, or just the way you're going to roll this thing out?
Yesterday was our official release. We do have them for sale finally, officially today, and we're starting a tour in a few weeks. We've been on tour, but we're continuing that tour to the end of the year.
Where's your favorite place to visit to play in the country outside of Nashville? Where do you land that feels like this is? We love the vibe.
California.
Okay.
Who doesn't want to go to California?
I'll buy that.
No, we again, that's a road trip thing we like to do.
Yeah.
But, honestly, every city in our experience feels the same. People want to see good music, appreciate true, passionate music, and I think I know from our hearts we're giving that. So each city has been amazing. I can't say we have a favorite.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for being here, and good luck with it. Good luck with Two Guns. Kim and Scott, the Smoking Flowers.
Thanks.
See what happens next. Now, everybody, we're going to have some good time guitar music here. We've had a loud evening. This is going to be one of those listen-y kinds of moments. We don't do that very often, but I'm excited about this. Jim.
Looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Or Keith.
Let me first say that you are listening to Music City Roots on Nashville's Hippie Radio, WHPY Bellevue, Nashville 94.5. Jim, the word of the day, in case you're wondering, is virtuosic. Virtuosic.
Virtuosic.
Yes. Learn how to spell it. Learn its meaning. It'll all come clear later, okay? Once again, Jim Lauderdale.
Thank you, Keith. The guitar players taking the stage now have very different backgrounds. One grew up in bluegrass and found his way into the most virtuosic band in acoustic music, New York's Punch Brothers. The other was recognized as a jazz prodigy early on, and he's carving out a unique career as a leader and collaborator. This duo is a new experiment that's produced a recording and a tour, and we're very proud to be a part of it. Please welcome Chris Eldridge and Julian Lage.
Thank you, guys. We are thrilled to be here. I've been hearing about this show for a long time, so very happy to be taking part. Julian and I come from very different worlds. I'm from the bluegrass world, as Jim said. Julian kind of from the jazz world. And we love fiddle tunes, we love bluegrass. We love these other crazy songs that we'll talk about in a sec. But one thing we also love are singing songs. And so we're going to sing a song now by the great flat picker and songwriter from North Georgia, Mr. Norman Blake. This is called Ginseng Sullivan. About 3 miles from the Battelle Yard, from the reverse curve on down, not far south than the town depot, Sullivan Shack is found, back on the higher ground. You can see him every day, just walking down the line, with a brown tote sack across his back and his long hair down behind, speaking his worried mind. It's a long way to the Delta from the North Georgia hills, and a tote sack full of ginseng won't pay no traveling bills. Well, I'm too old to ride the rail and I'll thumb the road alone, but I guess I'll never make it back to home, my muddy water Mississippi Delta home. Get so cold, the damp it makes me ill. Can't dig no roots on the mountainside when the ground's froze hard and still. Gotta stay at the foot of the hill. Maybe next summer things turn right, companies will pay high, and I'll make enough money to pay these bills and bid these mountains goodbye. Then he said with a sigh, it's a long way to the Delta from the North Georgia hills, and a tote sack full of ginseng won't pay no traveling bills. Well, I'm too old to ride the rail and I'll thumb the road alone, but I guess I'll never make it back to home, my muddy water Mississippi Delta home. From the North Georgia hills, and a tote sack full of ginseng won't pay no traveling bills. Well, I'm too old to ride the rail and I'll thumb the road alone, but I guess I'll never make it back to home, my muddy water Mississippi Delta home, my muddy water Mississippi Delta home, my muddy water Mississippi Delta home.
Thank you all very much. Well, Critter kind of implied a moment ago that we have this other kind of song, and we very lovingly call this other kind of song esoteric acoustic guitar art songs. And we call them that because they kind of focus on a certain gesture or an ism or a way of orchestrating two guitars that we're fond of. So we're going to do one of those now, and this is a song of ours called Steady Proof.
There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that she turns out to be someone who watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the woods. I know that I could always be good to one who watch over me. I know I may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, but to her heart I'll carry the key. Won't you tell her please to put on some speed, follow my lead. Whoa, how I need someone to watch over me. I know I may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, but to her heart I'll carry the key. Won't you tell her please to put on some speed, follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone to watch over me. Folks, that's Julian Lage on the guitar.
And that's Mr. Chris Eldridge.
Well, we're going to do one more song. It's been really fun getting to play for you guys. We're going to do a song that was recorded. My dad was in this bluegrass band called The Seldom Scene, and all right. And there's this great old song written by John Starling that has not seen enough of the light of day in recent years. So we're trying to do our part to bring it back. It's called the Mean Mother Blues, guys. Thank you again so much.
Thanks a lot.
Found my baby away. Yeah, a little piece of paper said she'd gone out to play. I know the river's done gone dry. She's trapped another fly. I got nothing to do but a few more words to say. I got the mean woman blues. knows I lose. I just can't seem to get her off my mind. She's an all-night rockin' mother. Lord knows I love her. Oh, she's leaving me to ramble up the line. When she moved in, I kissed the blues goodbye. She lit my torch and left the burners on high. Lord, the money that I paid for that living, loving maid, now she left me here to grieve, moan, and cry. I got the mean woman blues. Lord knows I lose. I just can't seem to get her off my mind. She's an all-night rockin' mother. Lord knows I love her. Oh, she's leaving me to ramble up the line. If you hear my song, you notice what I mean. Lord, I think it's all just a part of a woman's scheme. If you're buying what she sells, she'll run you straight to hell, captivate your mind and pick your trousseau clean. Oh, I got the mean woman blues. Lord knows I lose. I just can't seem to get her off my mind. She's an all-night rockin' mother. She's my flip-top package cover. She's leaving me to ramble one up the line. Oh, go ahead, Julian. Just can't seem to get her off my mind. She's an all-night rockin' mother. Lord knows I love her. She's leaving me to ramble up the line. Yes, she is. She's leaving me to ramble on up the line. Hey, thank you guys.
Chris Eldridge and Julian Lage. Oh, Julian, Chris Eldridge and Julian Lage, everybody. Amazing. Thank you so much. Wow. I think it's time to turn things over to this side of the stage now.
Oh, do you want to do that?
Very important.
Do you trust us?
I do.
Okay. Well, we're going to do our drawing for this beautiful tote bag. I hate to call that it's a navigator bag. The navigator bag.
And $900.
$900 navigator, just like the governor has.
Just like the governor.
Yes. He was down to see Colonel Littleton just this week.
And we have Kelly from the Omni.
Come over here and introduce Kelly.
We got Kelly here from the Omni Hotel downtown.
Yeah!
Yeah, that's right. And she's got some friends out there somewhere. I guess unless they left her. So anyway, they're still there. But they're going to make big differences in this town at the Omni Hotel, and Kelly's going to be part of it. So she's going to draw for us.
Okay, Kelly, it's your turn.
Don't look.
Reach way down in there. Get only one. One and only one. Craig providing the drum roll tonight.
And there we go.
And our winner is... help me. It looks like a license plate.
It looks like a license plate.
Be legible to win.
Kaboo
Isano.
From Grizzly Lane in Smithville, Tennessee. I can get that part out.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it Kaboo? Is that right?
Kaboo.
How do you say your last name? Isano? Yeah. Hey, all right. We got it right.
All right.
Very good. Meet the Colonel over at his booth, and that Navigator bag is yours. Kelly, thank you so much for coming by and for supporting Music City Roots. We appreciate it. And Craig Haverhurst, what have you got for us?
Keith, you still haven't met a word you couldn't say, and say beautifully. Well done. Well done.
No.
Guys, we're going to have a Loveless Jam here in a moment. Don't go away. It's going to be fun. We're going to get the blues going on again. Jim will lead the chorus. And I want to say thanks to all the lineup tonight. Absolutely terrific Blackstone Brewery lineup this evening. Chris Eldridge and Julian Lage wrapping the night up. Again, they just booked a gig tomorrow night at Bongo Job After Hours Theater if you want to see more of that at 8 p.m. Smoking Flowers, thank you. Andy T. and Nick Nixon Band, thank you. Magnolia Sons, thanks to all 11 of you. And Tim Easton getting us started with a great, great set and a couple new albums, all new artists tonight on Music City Roots. Never seen any of them before here on our stage, and it was a total pleasure. On tap next week, we are excited to see songwriter Amy Speece, who is absolutely sublime. We've also got Hannah Aldridge. You can hear from Lulu May, Midday Farm Report, and a big old supergroup called Iron Horse Bluegrass. Yeah. Bringing it pretty powerful in the closing set. Iron Horse Bluegrass. Sure to get your tickets. MusicCityRoots.com, box office, and so forth. Check us out on Music City Roots during the week on the website, and we'll try to stay in touch until next Wednesday. Good stuff, Keith.
Very good. And a great big thanks to all our sponsors, the Loveless Cafe, French's Shoes and Boots, Old Smoky Moonshine, Griffin Technology, and Nissan North America, along with Star 129 Diamond, Vietti Chili, Ascend Federal Credit Union, the Nature Conservancy, Colonel Littleton, and we'd like to thank all the gang at Sound Image for taking such good care of the live sound here in the barn. Just take a look at sound-image.com. They're a proud sponsor of this final segment, and that's when we get all our guest artists that Craig just mentioned. They've returned to the stage for the big Loveless Jam, where we encourage all the musicians to stretch out on a favorite song. And to find out what that song's going to be, let's turn to Jim, who not only has done a great job tonight, but he also learned a new word, virtuosic. He knows how to use it in a sentence. I don't know whether he can spell it or not.
But pre-cleared that word.
He got it. We need to do that every week. A word of the week.
Yeah, that's right. Just land one in there.
And I think virtuosic is as good a place to start as any. And we've had some virtuosic
It took me a while to figure out
tonight.
what the adjective version of that word was, but it really is. It's in the dictionary. I checked it out.
It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You couldn't find a word that was in.
There were a lot of virtuosos here tonight, actually.
I love precise words. Jim?
Oh, you know, let him arrange. He's
doing
got
the
to pull a lot of
stretching
people
thing
together.
again.
I mean, only one band had 11 people, so there's a lot of people to coordinate.
Well, I guess this is as good a
Background
time as
singers.
any to plug my show on Hippie Radio.
There you go.
From 7 to 8, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Of course, you can't do it on Wednesday because we're here at Music City Roots. And I understand for the next few weeks they're going to have Montgomery Bell football on, so we won't be on Friday night. But all the rest of the time you can join us. Had Jim Easton up this week, had Humming House. Never know who we're going to have drop by the studio.
I think I dropped by last week, didn't I?
You
Keith?
did drop by. Yes,
me?
you did. I finally got him in the studio.
That was the big extravaganza Cowboy Jack special, wasn't it?
Yes, and we plan to do that. Well, I hope we're not celebrating someone's life, but we are going to do that from time to time and recognize some of these folks that are kind of behind the scenes in Music City, but well known by the world by their works. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, Jim, we've stretched long enough.
Hey, I thought you'd never ask.
Jim Lauderdale, our virtuosic host.
Well, thank you, Keith. Thank you, and Craig. And what a great show it's been tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we thought we would do a song that Muddy Waters made popular many years ago called I've Got My Mojo Working. Got my mojo working, but it just won't work on you. Got my mojo working, but it just won't work on you. Lord, I love you so much.
Tennessee gypsy woman, keeping me on ice.
Say it again.
I got a genuine Tennessee gypsy woman, she's giving me advice.
All right.
I got a whole lot of special friends, I'm gonna keep them all on ice.
Got my mojo working. 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 Got my mojo
Roots is a production of Hang Die Media. Executive producers John Walker and Todd Mayo would like to thank MTSU intern Brad Nagel and Belmont intern Philip Dormont for all their hard work as part of the MCR team. And of course, a big thanks to all our friends at Hippie Radio. Don't forget to join me for the Roots Radio Hour tomorrow night, where we'll explore the roots of Americana and rock for hippies of all ages. Hippie Radio, 94.5 on your FM dial. We're glad you joined us this week for Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. I'm Keith Bilbrey, and from the edge of Music City, good night.